Okay, Friday, January 17th, 2025. We're in Warsaw, Poland. We've been here a week. Time just flew by. I didn't get a chance to record till today. So we're on our way to Belgium. We had to stop by the Belgian embassy. You know, my wife and daughter needed to get some visas because my daughter's Norwegian passport, you know, we haven't gotten that yet. We didn't get a chance to go to Kiev for that one. We'll do that in Brussels. You know, then my wife needs a visa. I can just go to Belgium, just like anyway, yeah. Anyway, that's within the Europe deal. So we're leaving tomorrow. Yeah, we're leaving tomorrow, tomorrow afternoon. So I'm just trying to figure out how to get some logistics done. We got a guy picking up some boxes. He'll drive it over there so we don't have to carry too much on the plane. And then we managed to get one extra box because we visited people and they gave presents. And those presents, you know, take space. So yeah, it's just a lot to manage right now. A lot of things to manage. And then when we're in Brussels, we have to register ourselves there. It's a bit of a complicated process. Every district in the city has its own office and its own procedures. And they speak mostly French and Dutch. Some speak English. So we'll see. I mean, the embassy was quite helpful. I have to say the Belgian embassy in Warsaw was extremely helpful. You know, and, you know, they spoke English and everything. So, yeah, it was good. The experience was quite pleasant. But yeah, Warsaw. So, I don't know. I think I've gotten videos from here before. You know, it's just a big European city. I mean, it's old and got some history and some interesting buildings. We got a lot of friends here, my wife and I, so that's nice. And, you know, the food is good. But, you know, after living in Norway, Sweden, Estonia, I see the places are more alike than different. You know, it's like America. You know, once you know how to do something in one place, you can figure out in the other places. It's just there's always an issue with the languages. You know, that's always making the things a little bit hard. But overall it's good. You know, the experience is good. Now, how do I feel about being out of Ukraine? Mostly I'm relieved. I'm glad we made it here. You know, we rented a private van and we bought a really nice car seat for the baby. And we were expecting the baby to fuss the whole time and we'd have to stop a lot. We only had to stop twice, you know, once on the border and once in Lublin. You have to stop every 2 hours to move the baby around, you know, because they can't sit in a car seat for more than 2 hours. That's like really bad. It's really risking their health and everything. So we took some breaks, let her walk around. Yeah, it was uneventful, which is a good thing. If something is uneventful, it's probably good. Now, yeah, we got Trump coming up in 3 days, and he's been talking a lot about Greenland. You know, we don't hear much about Ukraine, but they did get a peace deal in the Middle East. But I'm not sure where things are with Ukraine. It looks like it's not going to be so easy for him to stop that war because, you know, Putin has the upper hand. You know, and he's been advancing. Why would he stop and make a deal? I mean, it would have to be some other levers, like Trump would have to get the oil prices way down to screw up their economy, or he'd have to, you know, send weapons to rebels inside Russia, or he'd have to disrupt things in other areas of influence where the Russians are. I think it's not going to be so straightforward. It's just give Ukraine everything is needed. You know, to get them to the negotiating table, you know, to get the Russian, and then tell the Ukrainians if they want to go to the negotiating table, they won't get anything. But the Ukrainians are ready to negotiate. It's the Russians being Russians. But at least we're on the right track, I have to say. Instead of going for forever war, at least they're trying to get this to a resolution. You know, whether it's a good one or a bad one, history will decide that. But if the forever war will definitely lead to a bad resolution. It's a war of attrition, and Russia has more people to grind up. you know. So the war of attrition would just go on for like another decade, and then we would reach probably a negative conclusion. You know, by then all the world would have lost interest, and you know, like I said, it's already like getting bad, you know. And you know, these right-wing political parties in Europe, it's not Russian money alone or Russian influence alone that's getting them to power. They actually have legitimate arguments. They actually have real concerns. Like in Germany, for example, Germany has no energy. They don't make any real electricity. They just use windmills and solar cells, which don't work when it's cold and still, like on cold winter nights. You know, then you have to buy it all from abroad and the prices go way up. They don't have any industry. You know, because the electricity prices went up so high, all the industry went abroad. A lot of it went to America, actually, to the American South, North Carolina, South Carolina. A lot of it went to Asia. And then they don't have any defense. They haven't been paying their NATO dues. They haven't been, you know, funding their militaries properly. It was supposed to be like 2% of GDP. Now Trump wants 5%. You know, and then they don't innovate. You know, there's very little innovation in Europe. They can't integrate the immigrants, make them feel like they belong to the society, even if they're like paying taxes there, even if they're born there, you know, from an immigrant family. If you're not like ethnically a German or something, or ethnically Danish, you're not Danish. You're just like, you're a Turkish person with a Danish passport or something. You know, so they haven't figured this out yet. Like in America, I'm American, you know, it doesn't matter. You're born there, you naturalized there, you paid your taxes, stay out of trouble, got your American, even if you're a criminal with an American passport from abroad, you're still an American. You know, they haven't figured this out. They're all into this like ethnic stuff, and it's failing them. You know, they got Russia and China picking them apart. And then all this stuff will just be in history books pretty soon. They're so screwed up. You know, the mentality is so, you know, not for the time. It was maybe appropriate 200 years ago, but they are not adapting. They are just not going to make it. So, you know, we have a decision to make. You know, we have to spend some time in Belgium. You know, my daughter has, we found out she has peanut allergies, and that's why we're going. And they have really good treatment in England. Now, I can work in Belgium, but I can't work in England. So we'll just stay in Belgium and take the train there every 2 weeks for treatments. And then after 6 months, you know, she will be treated, and she can manage a few peanuts. She won't be completely free of the allergy, but she will be able to manage it, and she won't need an EpiPen and all this crazy stuff. If you catch a peanut allergy, cashew allergies, or nut allergies, or any allergies early, before age 3, and you start the treatment as soon as possible, it has better results. So that's what we're doing, and that's why we're going. And I'll, you know, probably have some videos from London in the future. But yeah, I have to say I'm glad I'm out of Ukraine. You know, overall, I have to say I'm glad I'm out of there. We still have some loose ends to tie up, you know, but that's no urgency for that. You know, I'm already interviewing for jobs in Belgium. One of them is looking very promising. You know, and these are like for good companies listed on the U.S. Stock Exchange or on the European Stock Exchange. So it looks like there's a pretty good job market there, but the taxes, from what I understand, are really high. I've been doing all these calculations. It can be like 52%, no deduction for mortgage. You don't get deduction for your kids, but you get an allowance. So instead of, you know, you paying less taxes, they just send you a check for every kid you have or something. And, you know, of course, that includes all the medical care and all this, but not this treatment. This I have to pay out of my own pocket because this treatment's not available in Europe, oral immunotherapy for infants. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you know, and the baby, she's actually enjoying this trip more than the rest of us. But I mean, I'm okay in Warsaw. It's just our Airbnb is not the best. It's a bit dirty, and you know, it's a rental apartment, and It doesn't have the floor heating. I hate to complain about things like this, but yeah, it's just being on the road, it's a little bit hard. But it's maybe a good thing when being on the road is harder than being at home. A lot of people have a better life on the road than they do at home. So it means we had a pretty good home life in Ukraine, you know, to say the least. But yeah, but our daughter, she's, you know, we took her in this plaza and she was running around, you know, and everything, making friends with everybody. So, you know, our friends came and visited. My wife has some friends here, and then my friend Marek, you've seen him on a video before, and his future wife came and visited us, and like I said, we got a bunch of toys and have a new box to send. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, now this Trump and Greenland thing, this is another thing. I have some counter argument here. I think Greenland ought to do what he says. You know, the U.S. is not the first go around for Greenland. U.S. tried to get it through Andrew Johnson when they got to, I think, Alaska or Louisiana. Then Harry Truman wanted it, you know, after Roosevelt because of the Cold War, you know, because of the proximity to the Arctic and all the Russian activity up there. And now Trump wants it, and the reasons are legitimate. You've got a lot of, you know, Chinese influence there, Russian. I think the Chinese are trying to do business in Greenland. And then you have a lot of Russian military activity there, and we've seen what Europe can do with collective defense. Nothing. They don't want to pay for the military. They don't want to defend Ukraine. They want to put everything on America. You know, they should have just taken lead on Ukraine. It's their backyard. You know, and they should have been the you know, ones directing all the action, and then shaking down America for money. But America has to shake down Europe for money to take care of Europe's problems. It's not the first time. You know, there's World War I, World War II, that we had to save Western Europe. You know, there's Kosovo. No one did anything there. It was only the Americans and the British that went to Kosovo and took out the Serbians. You know? And now with Greenland, I see that as just like back payment for all the... Denmark hasn't been contributing to NATO. Like they, you know, they haven't been doing the 2%. They've been below that. So this, I think Greenland would be just good back payment. And I don't think much would change there. I think they could leave the place as is, like a territory. I don't know if they'd be, statehood would be probably better. I mean, they would have to, you know, maybe they would come up with their own Greenland medical insurance system. And, you know, they could grandfather in all the doctors there and, you know, pharmacy system and everything. That I'd hate to see change. I saw some YouTubes on that they would be really concerned about the healthcare system, that they would get the American healthcare system, you know, but their taxes, I don't know if how high they pay taxes, because they're like in a territory status of Denmark versus a, you know, being part of the Denmark country. You know, something like these Faroe Islands, you know, the one where they go kill all the whales every year, even though they're all millionaires with Volvos and they have supermarkets, you know, so they're like one of these jurisdictions. But yeah, the U.S. ought to grab that one too in the deal, you know, and stop that whale killing. Yeah, I think Greenland should go to the U.S. It would be like Alaska. You know, there's a lot of resources. People would get rich. I think all the Greenland people would get some payment, like $100 grand each, you know, or some big amount of money. You know, I think that money would go directly to the people, I would hope. Not to, I mean, the Danish government now is going to let them vote for autonomy. So if Greenland votes for autonomy, they're going to be standing alone like Texas was, you know, back in the 1800s. And then the Mexicans attacked, and then Texas went and joined the U.S. So if Greenland ends up being alone, you know, I guess they would still get NATO. They would get NATO and the EU and everything, but only country NATO that's really going to help Greenland is America. You know, all the other allies are just going to go argue in Brussels about, you know, who should pay and who should do what, and let's not push the Russians to nuclear war and all this thing. You know, it would be just a lot of that. So I think Greenland would be better off under the U.S. It would be more secure. I've seen the videos of the people living there, and there is no discussion of who is going to do the defense and who has been doing the defense of Greenland. I mean, you're not really a country unless you can defend it. You know, you don't have a country. You have no right to even call yourself a country unless you can defend it. then if you're depending on other people for your defense, then you're part of that country. That's the way I see it. So yeah, probably, I don't know if people agree with those comments or not, but Europe is really faltering. We're really, this winter has really been an eye-opener. The energy prices are really high here, and it's they have a demographic situation. Like I said, they just we're going to really see America pull ahead in the next generation, with all this technology. Not only just AI, but there's this quantum computing. Even though they say it's 15, 20 years away, it's 15, 20 years goes by pretty quick. And there's not really any quantum computing projects going on in Europe. So even for the next generation, there's nothing coming. Europe really won in telecom, setting up the cellular networks and this SMS messaging and everything. But then the iPhone kind of, like Nokia was NVIDIA a long time ago. Nokia was just this company that was unbeatable. And then the ground underneath it changed. And then one day they were just gone. And now I don't know, they're coming back. They're making tires or trying to bring back the dumb phones or something. Which are actually, they were pretty good. I have to say, their products were really good. But they're gone. And that's what's happening in Europe. They had something, the cars and everything, but it's all shifting to Asia. I mean, even if I had all the money in the world, I don't think I would buy a European car because I just don't want to deal with the problems. I would rather have a reliable Kia or Toyota, that just needs service once a year and never breaks. So it's like the ground underneath them is shifting, and they're just not, they're not ready for it. It's, it's hard. It's really hard. So yeah, Brussels, looking forward to Brussels and everything, and hope you enjoy these views of Warsaw. It's, it's interesting. I don't know if, this is what I like about Europe, is this being able to walk, I wish America had this. If America had this kind of like walking culture, there would be nothing wrong with it. And America's economy probably would be twice as big, because instead of all this time wasted in commuting, all this money wasted on cars, the money would have gone into other things, It would have, we could have built more, build more dense cities like this, and more money would go into savings and investments. People would have better quality of life. They wouldn't need to work so hard. It'd probably create more jobs. We'd be down to a 4-day work week with the same standard of living. It would, it's like mixed feelings, like I say. But I think definitely the momentum is going to be with the U.S. The momentum is with them. They're having, U.S. population is slightly growing every year, 0.5%. Where Europe is in decline, and then U.S. is just more geared towards business. It's more business friendly. So I guess people put up with all this driving and quality of life issues so that they can just earn more and have a better life. I think that's ultimately what drives people. I mean, in Europe, you're getting kind of crushed. You used to be able to earn enough here. You're able to earn enough, but the inflation has gone up faster than the wages. And so you're seeing the standard of living getting pinched. I was looking at the job offers in Belgium, then after tax and the expenses. I was actually, Ukraine was probably the best life I ever had. Living in a paid off apartment, paying 5% taxes, getting like 70, 80% of what I would earn in the US. I definitely had to take a hit, but definitely didn't have the expenses either. But now it's going to be like going out to a restaurant isn't going to be something I can just do when I feel like it. It's like going to be a once a month thing. And the gym is probably going to have to axe the gym and just exercise in the park and get a pull-up bar at home and everything. So yeah, that's European life, because we want to save money and buy our own apartment. Obviously have to do that all over again. And then we have to have money in the bank, keep buying shares, hope those go up. You know, that's the sort of thing. Instead of just blowing all the money on, you know, lifestyle stuff like coffees and, you know, going out to restaurants, that eats up all your money. You know, so we'll have to live frugally. I think the main expense, though, when our daughter's older, is the private schooling. You have to get her in one of these schools without devices, you know, without screens and everything. They've done a lot of studies on it. The screens are really bad. iPhones, Chromebooks, MacBooks, laptops, all this stuff. It's not for kids. It's like tobacco. It's like pot. It ain't for kids. You know, it's just the same thing, you know. It's something that has to be age restricted. Kids have to read from books. They have to write their essays by hand. You know, these kind of things. They have to draw by hand. You know, you can pick up a computer or device. I mean, I didn't get my first cell phone until I was like 31, and it picked it up in like a day, figured out how it worked, because it was faster, easier than what I had before, and that's how all tech is. So if you learn the things in the analog way, then you go to digital, you're going to just pick it up because it's just easier. You already know what all the thought process is, and it's all intuitive. So it's not like you have to work on a Chromebook or MacBook to get prepared for the future. You just need one day to get familiar with all that stuff, and then you're set. What you need is the thought process and the problem-solving skills. You know, so yeah, that's oh, look at this, a French flag. How fitting for this video. It's like yeah, we're almost back at the apartment. So yeah, life in Warsaw. I had to change the name of my blog, you know, just because of all the different places we're going. But hopefully I'll have some more views of Belgium and yeah, life there. Reflect on the American life in Belgium. Yeah, I wish I would get more views. I don't know if you guys have any advice on how to get the views on these videos up, because I think I have some good stuff to say, you know, but I don't. This is all raw and unproduced, you know, raw thoughts, and you know, sometimes my mind wanders here and there, and yeah, just trying to figure out so many things to talk about. You want to talk about everything. Sometimes you got nothing to say, but yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's all I got. Okay, and we'll see you later. Bye.